Hi everybody, it's me, Carrie, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Farmington Hills, Michigan. I'm coming to you live today on my Facebook page. So I am excited to be here with you, and hopefully some of you will pop on. I'm getting my thing ready so I can see if there are any comments. So, okay. So today is not going to be a Tiny Tip Tuesday. It should be, and that is my goal. But it's been a little crazy, and I'm a little behind on things. This was supposed to be Saturday's video, but I was not able to be here on Saturday live. So I'm here now. So first, let me show you what we're going to be using today. I kept all the little pieces out of stuff that I've got here out of different die sets. One is from the Dainty Delight bundle. This is such an awesome bundle, and if you do not have it, I do not know if this is going to carry over into the next catalog. And I do not know that it'll be on the retirement discount list. Probably not discounted, honestly. So if you like working with this kind of a thing, you may want to pick this one up. And also if it goes into the next catalog, it probably won't be as a bundle where you save 10%. But I wanted to show you, I'm using this awesome leaf die that, oh, you're going to love it. You may have seen it. A few people have been using it. It has a few little daisies, a whole daisy and a half daisy, and then these little daisy innards, like the little spot in the center of the daisy. So, and you can see there are a whole lot of other dies that I could have used, but those are the ones I picked for today out of the Dainty Delight. I am going to be using this stamp set. I will tell you, I'm using this out of this stamp set, but I am also using a Happy Birthday out of one of my favorites, Go-To Greetings. I'm also going to be using from the, what is this called? I never remember. Stylish Shapes. The two labels that are in this set. I've pre-cut everything. That's why I'm putting them away. I just wanted you guys to see them. This is an awesome die set if you just want a bunch of generics, and they're stitched. So it's very cool. And then, of course, the rectangular stitched. Now, this has been around for a little bit. And so I'm a little, and they've had other things come out since then, like the Deckled and all that. So there's a good possibility this is going to be retired. It came out, I don't know. I don't have it written down, but it's been out for a little bit. I mean, so long ago that it was back when they were writing on these things, what they were. So you might want to look into this. When it came out, it was $35. I think it still is. 151820. Awesome. This is awesome. Did I say awesome enough? It is. It's awesome. So okay, so I'm using that, and in case you were wondering what this is, this was from the parts department. I think I got mine on Amazon, but you can buy them at Home Depot or something. It's a giant magnet, and so everything sticks, because I was tired of losing my dies. Also, the paper I am using is from the annual catalog. It's called a Wash and Beauty. One of my favorites. You've seen me use it. I'm only going to use a small portion. This piece right here is what I'm going to use. And it's cut 8 1/8 by 5 1/4, and I have it folded in half. So we're going to use that. Then, like I said, I used the rectangular stitch dies. And this is basic white cardstock, of course, ready to be scored and folded. But I have cut out a stitched hole and then another stitched hole, and you'll see what we're going to do with these in a bit. Then it is awesome, that paper. I'm assuming you're talking about the paper. It is gorgeous. So how many of you trim, like I trim my cardstock, my basic white cardstock. I trim it, and I have like a stack of it that's cut 4 inches by 5 1/4, because that's often what we need to mat, whether it's the inside of dark cardstock or for the front of your card. I use that size all the time. So I sit down, put on TV, and I cut, and just cut and cut and cut. And I end up with all of these little pieces, which you can use them, but I end up with so many, I end up recycling a great deal of them. And actually, I pulled these out of the recycling so that I could teach you guys this fun idea. And I hope you guys like it. I don't know if it's an original thought, but I kind of think it was something that I saw, and I don't know how they did it, and I don't know when I saw it. So it's kind of sort of my own. You know how that goes. Okay, then I'm using some temporary adhesive like Hermafix, which we do not sell, but you can still get it on Amazon and maybe at your local scrapbook store. I don't know. But as of now, Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell it. So I am going to run a row onto my grid paper. Grid paper is very, very important. And then I am going to just start. Now see, these are the long ones. I tried doing them with the short ones, and you can, but the longer ones are going to make you happier. And I'm looking for, you know, our grid paper has the grid lines, right? So I'm lining them up with the grid lines. Whoops. Apparently there's no sticky up there. Let me add a little. There we go. And I'm going approximately 2 squares or a 1/2 inch. But these things are not perfect because, hello, I cut them. So perfection is overrated, as you know very, very well if you watch me at all. So I am basically sticking them about every 1/2 inch apart. All right, so I'm gonna do that for as long as I feel like doing it, which is going to be basically the whole sheet. So talk amongst yourselves while I'm doing this. While you're doing that, I hope everyone is doing well. Here in Michigan, the weather has been weird. There's just, boy, is this one really crooked or what? It is really crooked. So kind of sort of pay attention to that, because you don't want them to be crooked. You want them to be as straight as you can, hence using the grid paper. But anyway, the weather here in Michigan is just so weird for March. It's just, I mean, we've had snow in March before. That is not the issue. But it's been weird snow. Like if you looked outside right now, you'd barely see any. There'd be maybe dust, a little pile here, a little pile there, almost nothing. But a couple days ago, there was a big snowstorm. And before that, nothing but a big snowstorm before that. So an ice storm, you guys saw that, where my car got smashed. So yeah, it was crazy. Michigan is the best place in the world to live, but have a whole pack of different seasons of clothes. Most people have different sizes of clothes. Well, you need that too if you're me, but definitely you want a variety of seasons. And I know Jane's watching, and she knows. She knows, because she lives not that far from me. Okay, so now I've got these. This is my last sheet on here, and look at this. It still has the rubber on it, but it's okay. It's not going to bug me. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my liquid glue, and I am going to start by putting a little drop, if it lets me, of liquid glue at about the same. I'm kind of following the grid paper so that I've got it kind of in the same spots. And now I am going to go this way. And I'm going to try and follow the grids again so that I keep it kind of straight. I'm going to go up approximately 2 grids. Now the first one, you can get like even Steven on 2 grids. It looks pretty accurate. But although these things should be a 1/2 inch apart, you know, I cut them. So they're probably, some are probably perfectly a 1/2 inch, some are not. So I'm going to just keep doing this up on here until it's full. And I apologize for making you guys watch me do this. And I want you to know I have one of the finished ones finished, just in case I screw up. Not that that would ever happen to me. Hi, Jane. I'm done with the gloomy weather too. Oh my gosh, I'm so ready for spring. I mean, we had to turn our clocks. Shouldn't we be able to have spring now? I think so. Speaking of turning the clocks back, I said years ago, and I am certain I'm not the only one to have this brilliant suggestion that nobody in the government seems to think about. We're all talking about we don't like daylight savings time in either direction. It's just not good. And the time to, it was for saving electricity. Can you guys believe that? Way back when? Like World War I. I saw that somewhere on the news. Well, if everybody's so freaked out about what it would do to turn it back, why not do a 1/2 hour? Like instead of doing an hour this time, why didn't we turn it back 30 minutes? What's the problem with that? And then everybody be happy and we'd be somewhere in between and life would be groovy. But hey, that's just one girl's opinion. So here we go. I'm still sorry, this is so time consuming, but you want it bigger than you think you want it. And I've made them or they're really tight, and it makes it a little more difficult. I had to do fill-ins and stuff to make it fit right. So there we go. So now I have all this. You would probably want to wait for it to dry. I'm going to go ahead and take it off of this. Like I said, it's my last sheet. And now I'm going to get my paper trimmer. And I'm going to start right here. I'm going to try to kind of line up these 2 diamond shapes here. Because I think, where is my ruler? Here we go. I want to make sure I have at least 5 inches, and I do. So can you see now what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to line up these diagonals, all right, with the cutting line as best I can. I got to make sure this way I have enough. I do. Okay. And the reason, oops, that won't work. The reason I'm doing this is I want a straight edge. So I'm taking that off. And yes, I am going to take away the grid paper. Now I want a straight part because I know this is at least 5. I know that I want this to be able to be wide enough. So you're kind of playing a kind of a guessing game at this point. So I am going to try and even this one up too. So I'm not sure that will work. So we're going to go with this one. Like I said, I have one cut just in case it's really bad. Okay. All right. So now here's where the thinking comes in. I want to be sure if I do this at 4 inches, is this part where it's going to cut long enough? So I look at it and it's 5.5, so I'm good. All right. So I want this to be actually a smidgen more than, hang on. I want it to be wider than this opening. And this opening is 3 inches. So if I go like, just for giggles, I'm going to do like, you know, just a smidgen over the 4 inch line. 4 inches is fine. Do you see what I'm making here? So cool. And then I want to make sure this one is more than 4.5 inches, right? So I am going to make sure that it's at least 5. All right. So now I have this beautiful grid, and I can pull this off now. The reason I left it on there is because I knew that some of the glue oozed out and would be sticking in places. And some of it, of course, did stick because of the temporary adhesive. So you're going to want to make sure you have that off because it's going to show through on both sides. All right, so now here's my card, right? I'm going to score this now. You can score it really good before you cut it if that works better for you. Now, I'm going to grab this. Although I don't want to ooze out. If I can at all help it, I'm going to try not to ooze out. And I'm just going to put a thin, don't get excited, a thin layer of liquid adhesive on here. Okay? Not so close to the edge that everything is going to ooze. Now, oops. See, I still have some adhesive on here. My adhesive eraser is not handy. So, let me use this. It's not really working over there. There we go. Okay. And it looks the same on both sides. So what you want to do is figure out how it's going to look in your window. All right? Where is it going to end up? And mine is going to end up like so. Just press it down. You've got some glue on places where you don't have any of the lattice. That's okay. Because now you're going to take this piece, and you know, you've cut this. If you've used this, you've got the stitch lines. So make sure your stitch lines are facing the way you want. So this is the proper facing way. So I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to put some adhesive on to this. Now this is where having one of these mats or a dark background will help you position this, because you don't want it to show through the other side. So you kind of want to play with it and get it where it's even Steven. Basically even Steven. And it's liquid glue, so you may have to hold it for a second. But the good thing about the liquid glue is, if you saw, I was sliding it. I was sliding it to get it into position. But now you can't really see the other side, right? Okay. So isn't that cool? So now I have this lattice. And I have this. But that's boring, right? Because you can see it. So what I did was I took this piece of designer series paper, because I played with it with the lattice to see what is it going to look like behind it. And I will show you another one at the end of this video. Thank you. My fingernails need to be fixed. Actually, they're growing out. But dips are expensive, so you're going to see me just color them for a bit. Because I'm cheap. It's a reality. So now, like I said, this is cut 5.5 by 8 and, what did I say? 8 1/8. So 5 1/4 by 8 1/8. So the reason it's not 8, because normally we say 4 inches, is I want it to go past this area so that it doesn't show anywhere. So this is going to be the inside of my card, and I liked this paper because the inside is you could write on it. You'll see when I open it up. But I'm going to take, this is a folded side. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it closer to the fold. And there. So it's almost at the fold. Actually, this is at the fold. So you're going to pull it away a little bit just so your card folds okay. But see, now you've got flowers inside your little lattice, right? And the inside has, you could write right on this, but I'm going to decorate the inside. Let's just, and I'm not done. Wait till you see the front. Oh my golly. So For the inside, what I did was I took the piece that I cut out, right? And I stamped it with this flower and this Celebrate You, which is from the same stamp set. So that's on the inside. Then I colored it with, and I'm doing this just to save time, you guys. I stamped it with the Memento black ink. That's important because I'm going to be using my blends markers. I have 2 shades of Old Olive. I have a light, what is this? Flirty Flamingo, and the dark and the light Flirty Flamingo. I think this is Flirty too. No, this is Petal Pink. This is the light Petal Pink, and then Flirty Flamingo, and I decorated. And I got this. Okay? So, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that on the inside. It's a little less boring, right? I mean, the blue is pretty, but why not? You've got this piece anyway. You may as well use it. So, that is going to go right in the center, which I think is pretty. And so, see, you've got like a double flap, which is nice. Always on a card, I think. So now I've got the front. So what do we do with the front? Well, that is where the fun really starts. So I am going to grab this piece right here because I need a piece to color on. And like I said, I have pre-cut. This is out of, oh, my brain. Did I write it on my sample card? I don't think I did. Hang on. It'll give me just a minute to figure out the colors I used. Because for the other card I'm going to show you, I used this Designer Series paper. So I know that I picked the colors from this. I used Shaded Spruce. That's the dark one. Old Olive. And then these are cut out of, the little flowers are cut out of Blushing Bride. And I have whole ones and half ones. So what I'm going to do is, because I want to play with them and I don't want them to move, I am going to just stick them on some temporary adhesive too. Okay? Because I want to color them just a little bit. I want to give them some depth. They're pretty like this, but they need some depth. And you guys can't see this, but when you cut these out, there's like little dots in there. So it's like it kind of already has like a little center in there. If you wanted to leave them plain, you could. So then I've got the halvesies. Because I didn't use all of them, I don't think, on my original card. But you want to be ready. So I cut out 8. And then I have all of these little center pieces that I will be using that I cut out. These are cut out of soft suede. All right, so now what I'm going to do is take my Blushing Bride ink. This is why there was a question mark. Cheesy, oh, classy card. I thought you said cheesy card. Okay, so this is why I put a question mark on Tiny Tip Tuesday. This is not so much a tiny tip, but it's a fun one. So I'm taking, obviously, my blending brush, and I'm just going to put some color on basically the edges of these. And let me get some good ink on there. There we go. That's a little better. All right. And you barely will notice it. You'll barely be able to tell until you put it on the card. And then you're going to be like, oh yeah, there's some dimension there. And I'm not worrying about like, I don't want them all the same. I mean, God has variety in his world. And so if we're going to copy his splendor and beauty, plus it works really well for me not to be perfect. As you all know, stay. Quit moving around. Okay, So I'm just kind of trying to get the edges. And like I said, it's very minimal. But if you put it next to these, you can see that this is lighter because I haven't done anything with them yet. Okay, so now I'm going to see if I can get those to stay in place while I do it with these. Oh, that one's upside down. Did you know there's an upside down and a right side up? You can tell when you cut them. The cutting, you can see where the cutting goes. So let's flip that one over. Okay. So now I have all those almost ready. And I am going to take my little dots, which also have a right side and a wrong side to them. I'm going to grab my take your pick tool, because I will be needing that. And I'm going to see if I, pardon my head, while I try to get these right side up, because they also have little dots. So I want to make sure the little dots are up. So when I pick them up, I'm putting them on the correct way. Okay, that one's right. That one looks right. Stay. Okay, that one's right. That one is right. Okay, so now I have those all ready. So, do you see why I cut things in ahead? Because I'm definitely taking some time doing silly stuff that I sometimes prepare before our videos go on. Now with these halvesies, just put a little bit on there because they don't go on completely. That one looks like it doesn't have any adhesive. There we go, it's a little better. All right. So now I'm just going to take these and I'm going to put them on the centers of the flowers. Help them to look pretty. Oh, that one moved. And there we go. Did you guys see my post that today is National Potato Chip Day? I was planning to enjoy some, even though I'm on Weight Watchers. But I went and got my girls squished today, which is important. So if you haven't done that this year, think about doing that for yourself. And so I decided that since I did that for myself, I deserved a treat. So I decided to get a breakfast, fast food breakfast, and I hadn't had a fast food breakfast from Taco Bell in a very long time. So I thought, I'll go get one of those Crunch Wraps. Oh my God. First of all, delicious, but it was like all of my Weight Watchers points for the day. Now, I mean, I can still eat like 10 more points over, you know how Weight Watchers is. You have a little bit of leeway, but holy moly. Delicious, not worth it. But, you know, if you don't care about that stuff. So I spent an extra time on my Total Gym today to try to make up for some of that. Yay. Losing weight is so hard, especially when you're in your 60s. It is just not that easy. All right. So now I have all my flowers ready, right? Okay. Now, here's where it gets a little bit interesting. I want to put these and my flowers on there, but I can't like put adhesive on the back of all of this, right? I mean, that would be really not good. What did I do with, I don't know. What did I do with my silicone sheet? There it is. So just for safety, I'm going to put my silicone sheet inside, just in case anything oozes. So then I have to decide, how do I want it to go? So I'm definitely going to put this on. I want to watch so that it's not hanging over too far, or it might bend in the envelope, right? So, but I want some of the flowers up here. So I'm just watching, and then I'm looking what's touching the cardstock. So I know here, here, here is safe, there is safe, there is safe. So will I remember that? I don't know. I'm going to give it the old college try. So what I'm doing is I'm going to use my take your pick tool to hold on to it, because then I can go like this. So if you don't have a take your pick tool, ask yourself the important question of why don't you have one? Is there a logical reason that you don't have one? The answer is probably no. So you should get one. But can you see what I'm doing? I'm kind of checking to see where I can adhere it and where I should not. I think that's going to do it. I'm not worried about it being perfect as far as exactly where everything goes, but I'm hoping I did it right. And you're going to want to hold this for a second, because you know liquid glue is not like a miracle. And it's okay. Well, it's sticking up a little bit more now because I've got this in there. But if this bugs you, you just lift it up, put a little, do it quick. Like I said, you don't want to wait too long. Oops, that's a little too much. So grab one of your extra pieces, pull it off. There we go. So now I'm going to put on this one. Same process. You figure out about how you want it to curl. All right. Grab your take your pick tool and play with it. So I know I've got this. I've got these. I have this. This. And this one. And I don't know that I have any others. So it's less. But boy, did that one take a lot of adhesive. That's not cool. It's very rude, in fact. So now I'm going to set this on there and hold it in place. And if you want to, you can give this a minute to glue really good, and then take out your, what is that? That's glue. Take out your adhesive remover and remove any extra adhesive that is on there. Like I can see I have some here that could probably use to be rubbed off once this is dry. But I don't want you guys to wait here all day. So now this is a little bit easier. We're going to just start putting on some flowers. And I'm just going to put a little bit in the center. I'm not going to dimensional any of these. There's a lot of dimension in this just from the cardstock alone. So, you know, don't get crazy. And remember to intermix some of these halvesies, because you're going to want them, because they're cute. And it just gives you a little bit more dimension. Make sure your flowers hang over in parts. You want it to. You want it to look really pretty all the time, because it's a trellis, right? So you want a lot of stuff going on. I think I'm going to wait for a second. I'm going to put a few of these on. See where they might go and look cute. What do you guys, I really like the delicate green leaves on the lattice. I've used Hermafix forever. I put a bit on the currency if I want to enclose a gift card. Oh, that's a really good idea. Who said that? Jane. Good idea, Jane. Take a little bit of that off. Put that right there. Okay. I do want another whole one, but I don't know where yet. So I'm going to put on another half. Okay, I'm going to set that one up here, like so. Oops. Sometimes you got to hold it a little bit longer. There we go. So that's basically my flowers. I think I might put this one on the inside. I haven't decided yet. So now I stamped Happy Birthday and I cut it out. And then in, excuse me, Blushing Bride, I cut out the mat for that. Put that over there. So I am going, you see, I always make, this was just too much, there wasn't enough ink on it, so it didn't make me happy. So now I'm going to even it up on this side, and I'm not going to worry about the other side, because if it ends up like my other card, I'm going to be cutting it off. Oh, maybe not for this one. Okay, cool. So the other one, I had it off a little bit, so you'll see that. But this, I am putting on dimensionals because the dimensionals are going to help me put it where I want it. So if I'm going to want it, because I want to see the lattice, right? I am going to scoot it over and trim it off, I think. Yeah, I am. So let me hold this in place, and then I'm going to trim it before I do anything. Of course, I don't know that that's straight yet. Kind of like that. I think it's straight. It's not. Okay. We're going to hope I've got that straight. And turn it over and trim it. Now I can see where I want it to go. If you don't want to do dimensionals, oh, see, now I don't like that that's showing that little bit. So I'm going to trim it a little bit more. Okay. So now I know where I want it to go, right? So I'm going to want it to go here. So what I do when I'm figuring something like this out is I will take a piece of scrap, all right? Well, apparently this one's volunteering. And I'm going to set it right there so I know. Then I'm going to slide this out of the way. And I know where I'm going. So I can put one here. I can put one here. I can put one here. And then I'm going to take some of these halvesies. I'm going to put one there. And maybe right there. Does that make sense to you guys? How by doing this, I'm not going to be getting into the hole of the lattice. And then take off these backs. All right. Now I have to line this up now because I did trim it a little bit more. Oh, look what I did. That's not good. So this is why you don't want to press those down too hard because sometimes you have to move an adhesive. Move that up just a little bit. There we go. Stay. Okay. Now I can line this up like so and like so. Now, that looks pretty cute just as it is, right? I mean, it's just cute. But what is a card without some bling? So I'm using the iridescent rhinestone jewels. And I just thought they would be pretty because they're small. Also, if you wanted, you could go ahead and add another flower, like if you wanted to here. But I think I'm going to take this flower and I'm going to just put it right down here in the corner. Maybe I'll add the other one too. I don't know. Let's see how this one looks first. Even though it doesn't quite match the flowers on the stamped image, it does match the front. So Hang on. Before I put the rhinestones on, I want to see if I want to do this. Yeah, why not? I've got them. If I don't use them, I'll end up tossing them. I may as well use them to look pretty, right? So, there we go. So now the inside of my card is extra cute. And the outside is going to get some bling. So you can decide where you want to put these. I'm looking to see what I did. I decided not to put any in the center of the card. I think I tried it and I didn't like the way it looked. So you can just set them. Remember, uneven numbers, and I'm using a variety of sizes also. There's 3 different sizes on this. The big one is a little too big for me for this card. So I'm being a little bit more cautious with that. So I have 3 so far, so I need to do at least 2 more, right? To keep it an uneven number. So hide them in your flowers. Maybe they're little raindrops that have dropped. Then we're going to put one right there. So, do you guys like it? And see how it looks like there might be more flowers that came up from behind. So there's that bling. And then you've got the inside like that. Okay. Let me show you the first one that I did. It's a little bit different. It's almost the same. I used different colors. I think this was petal pink I used. And you can actually see the coloring in the flowers a little better on this one. Let me, oh, thank you, Jane. Let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. So you can see how, you could kind of see the coloring a little bit more on this because the petal pink is much lighter. So I could have used a darker color, but it still has some dimension. And then I put the half flower over here. And then this one's inside is totally different. It's like that. The reason I did the other one the other way is you can't really write on here. You write on here, it's going to show through your lattice. If you don't care, that's fine. But on this one, you're definitely going to have to write on the back of it. But with this one, you can go ahead and write on the inside. You're good. If you want to have a lot, don't put this in there because then you've got a lot of space. But when you pick your colors, like this paper, I love that the inside is little tulips. So it kind of stayed with the theme, but it's light enough if you wanted to write on it, right? So there are the 2 cards. So I guess my tiny tip today is don't throw away your scraps because you just never know when you're going to need them. Let me get back. Oh, I hate when it does that. Hang on. I always got to figure out how to turn it around. There it is. Ah, come on. There we are. Okay. So silly. All right. So, just in case you don't know who I am Carrie Beglow, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Farmington Hills, Michigan. To shop for Stampin' Up!, go to MemoryINKers.com. This is March of 2023, so please use this hostess code when ordering. N as in Nancy, 2. N as in Nancy, W as in Wayne, 9, 6, Y as in yellow, 6. If you need to email me, it's MemoryINKers@gmail.com. Thank you. Thank you, Jane. Also, please click that little box to follow me. There's somewhere up here. There's a thing that says follow. Then you'll know when I put out a video, which I try to do at least twice a week. If you've shared this video, make sure you comment that you've shared so that you can be in my prize drawing. And also, if you're following me on my YouTube channel, which this will be here, know that you're definitely watching a recording because I'm only live on Facebook when I go live. So, all right, you guys, have a blessed and wonderful rest of your day. I hope that you are staying warm for a little bit longer until we are complaining about the heat. I can't wait to complain about the heat. All right, bye, guys.